Hey class! Wow, it's wonderful that we get to meet again today. Now today's lesson will be based on our textbook, Pulse 2, Unit 4, page 47. And the objectives for the lesson? Here. First objective would be learning and revising on rules for countable nouns and uncountable nouns. And we are going to touch on a or an, some, any, and much, many, a lot of. So we are going to use these for the countable nouns and uncountable nouns. As for objective 2, you are going to read a short text about natural science. Well, definitely there will be more than that. So let's go for the lesson now. Page 47, you are required to study the table and copy and complete the rules for exercise 1. Here's a table on countable nouns and uncountable nouns using a or an, some, and any. Let's go through these together. Alright, for countable nouns, he wrote a boat. It's home to some rescue animals. That's an elephant. So this part, well, this is the affirmative sentences. This part will be on negative sentences because there's a not here. I have not or I haven't got a camera. There aren't any lions. And as for the questions, is that a crocodile? Are there any giraffes? And this is affirmative questions, affirmative questions. As for the uncountable nouns, yes, try some traditional African food. There wasn't any time to go on a safari. And did you see any wildlife? Let's take a look at the patterns here. Countable nouns, as we can see, both elephant, rescue animals, camera, lions, crocodile, giraffes, they are countable. As for this part, food, safari. Okay, food itself is uncountable, wildlife is uncountable. And for safari, the word here, it can be uncountable and it can also be countable. Either one. Yes, so there it goes for the table. In your exercise book, remember to write down the day and the date. And Pulse 2, page 47, write down the title itself, grammar, countable and uncountable nouns on a and some, any, much, many, and a lot of. Now, before we do exercise 1, let us get to know more about countable and uncountable nouns. So, what are they? Let's take a look. Here it says, a noun is a word that refers to a person, a place, a thing, an event, a substance, or a quality for either countable or uncountable nouns. Let's take a look at the example given here so that you can have a better idea of how to use countable and uncountable nouns, right? Using all these words given here. Now, let's take a look for countable nouns. Here, for countable nouns, they have singular and plural forms. Okay, for example, for singular, and plural forms, all these can be used, under countable nouns. For example, student, plural, students, clinic, clinics, table, tables, party, parties, decision, decisions. For these countable nouns, we can add an s for the plural form, but of course there is always an exceptional case. So for example here, goose, we change it to geese for the plural form, child, children, and so on. As for the uncountable nouns, let's take a look. Now for uncountable nouns, they have only singular forms. Now, what are they? So singular forms, well, they are divided into a few categories. Here, food, liquid, material, subject, weather, and other. So food like meat, rice, liquid like water, oil, milk, soup, material, leather, metal, plastic, wood, subject, physics, art, science, English, weather, rain, snow, ice, storm, other like advice, news, furniture, information. Yeah, okay. So these are all in singular form for uncountable nouns. As you can see, these are the things that we cannot count. Right? So I hope you have a better idea now for countable and uncountable nouns. What are they? For exercise 1, now we have studied the table. Now we need to copy and complete the rules. Now for affirmative sentences, what do you know about affirmative sentences? It means that sentences that normally requires agreement or a yes. So here, what do we use with plural countable and countable nouns? As what is given in the table itself, well, affirmative sentences, as you can see, normally, well, we put some. Okay, that is affirmative. Here is another affirmative, some. So we use some. For the affirmative sentences. What about B? In negative sentences, well, what does it mean by negative sentences? Again, as I have explained earlier, negative sentences refer to sentences with the word not. That means disagree. And so we use here. Let's see. Is there the word any here? Yes. There aren't any lions. There wasn't any time to go on a safari. So any would be the right answer. Okay. So there goes for exercise 1, A and B. For exercise 2, you are required to copy and complete the sentences with or an, some, or any. Now, just as a reminder here, for any, it is normally used for negative sentences. And for some, we use it for affirmative sentences. Alright, now let's go to question 1. I'd like information, please. Now, here, information is something that is uncountable, and this is affirmative sentence. So we put down some. Some would be the proper answer, right? Some. Okay. Done? Now let's go to the next question. This is the question itself. Is there airport near the wildlife reserve? So airport here, and this is an is. Airport is countable, and this is an affirmative question. Is for singular, so we can put, well, don't forget, air is a vowel sound, air. So we put an. Is there an airport near the wildlife reserve? Let's go to the next question here. Alright, shall I bring camera? Again, this is very similar to question 2. It's an affirmative question, and this is countable. So or an, there is no vowel sound here. It's a C. So shall I bring a camera? Next. Question 4. Will I see wild animals? Question mark. This is plural. Okay, so will I see wild animals? We can say any here. Will I see any wild animals? Any. And well, this is wild animals, so many here, many wild animals here, but because it's a question, so will I see any wild animals? Any of them? One of them? Yeah, so that's what it means, any. Next. 5. Do I need warm clothes? Question mark. Okay, clothes. Countable. Yeah. Do I need? This is affirmative. Question. Do I need any? Some. The same. It's very much similar to question 4. So do I need any warm clothes? So if your answer is any, then you got it right. Let's go to the next question. Well, for this, I actually put in extra questions to let you have a better idea on how to use some or any. So I add in extra 3 questions here. I hope it helps. Let's go to question 6. I didn't have money, so I had to borrow. So I didn't have. This is a negative clause, or a negative clause, I would say. So I didn't have any money. So I had to borrow. Now definitely this cannot be any. Yeah, so you got to borrow some. Alright, some. So the whole question is, I didn't have any money, so I had to borrow some money. Now the money doesn't have to be there, so it is understood that some, it means some money. Question 7. Tonight, I'm going out with friends of mine. Well, what do you think? Some or any? If you put any, tonight I'm going out with any friends of mine. That means any friends? Anyone? Who would that be? Any friends? That sounds a bit strange. Yeah? Okay, so because normally any, well, it really doesn't fit into this sentence. But if you put some, tonight I'm going out with some friends of mine. Now it's more than one. Yes, so some friends would be better. It sounds better. Some friends, more than one, instead of any. Okay, and the last question will be, if there are words you don't quite understand, look up the word from a dictionary. So if, now here I would say any. Yes. Now normally, here I want to explain a bit. Normally, in many cases, any comes after if. If there are any words you don't quite understand, look up the word from a dictionary. Alright, so I hope you understand how to use a or an, some or any in this exercise too. On exercise 3, well, you are required to study the table. This is the second table. And then you choose the correct words to complete rules A to C. So we are going to use much, many, and a lot of. Let's take a look at the countable nouns. There are a lot of things to do. Next, we didn't see many wild animals. Next, how many endangered species live there? So here are things, wild animals, species, these are all countable. As for the uncountable nouns, We had a lot of fun on holiday. There isn't much water in the river. Next, how much time will we have? So I guess holidays, water, time, these are the nouns that are uncountable. Well, and we are using a lot of, many, yeah, and much on these. And here I would like to share with you more on how to use a lot of and and lots of. Alright? Before we do exercise 3, let's check this out. Here, we use a lot of, lots of, or plenty of with countable and uncountable nouns. For example, a lot of luck, a lot of friends, lots of time, lots of people, plenty of money, and plenty of ideas. So plenty here means more than enough. And as you can see, when there is an S here, we don't put a at the front. Now, let's go further down. Perhaps you might have the same, questions like a lot of students. Now, what's the difference between there is a lot of and there are a lot of? Well, in general, they sound like the same thing, but because the difference here is the verb are and the verb is. So when do we use there is a lot of, and when do we use there are a lot of? Here, we'll explain everything. We use there is a lot of with uncountable nouns. Right, so see, meat is uncountable, so we use is. There is a lot of meat, there is a lot of water, so this is when we use there is a lot of. What about there are a lot of? So we use it with countable nouns. You see, oranges, they are countable. Apples, they are countable, so we use it for there are a lot of oranges, so it's used for countable nouns. So I hope here clears a lot of things when you need to use there is a lot of and there are a lot of. For exercise 3, the first question, A. In affirmative sentences, we use much or a lot of with plural countable nouns and uncountable nouns. So here we need to choose the correct word. So we use much or a lot of for affirmative sentences. Let's take a look here. So this is affirmative sentence. We had a lot of fun on holiday. So A, we use a lot of, right? A lot of. And for B, in negative sentences and questions, we use many or much with plural countable nouns. Well, this is negative sentences and it's plural countable nouns. So plural and it's countable. So the answer will be many. As for C, in negative sentences and questions, we use a lot of or much with uncountable nouns. Well, you see, a lot of can be used for both countable and uncountable nouns. So, but for much, well, and it's for negative and it's for uncountable, so much fits in these two rules, negative and uncountable. So much will be the answer. So A will be a lot of, B many, and C much. That's it for exercise 3. Coming to exercise 4, let us look at the picture and then correct the sentences using a lot of, many, and much. On this picture, what do you see? Well, you can see a bed of 4 posts with a lady sitting at the edge of the bed and trying to apply some sun cream on his legs. Well, you can see some red bumps there, some red bumps, and all these, Yeah, they were caused by the mosquitoes that were flying around, hovering around in the room itself with a bag of clothes all strewn out. Yeah, all strewn out. And there's a bottle of perhaps oil over here. Alright, now let's come to the example given. She hasn't got many clothes. And we need to change the sentences to correct the sentences here. And you can see from negative sentence to an affirmative sentence. So when you correct the sentence here, she has got a lot of clothes, which you can see here. And let us come to question 1. She hasn't got much sun cream. And how are we going to correct the sentence? She hasn't got much sun cream, but from the picture here you can see this is a big tube of sun cream. There's a big tube there. Yes. And well, I guess you need to change this to an affirmative sentence. She has. So you take away the not. She has got. Now for sun cream, because there's either you put much or a lot of. For many is countable, left much or a lot of. So we don't use much here. So the only option will be a lot of. So answer will be she has got a lot of sun cream. Let's write this down. She has got a lot of sun cream. For question 1. Alright, let's go to question 2. She's got a lot of mosquito bites. She's got a lot of mosquito bites. So here, so we can see here there is about 1 or 2 bumps here, though there is a lot of mosquitoes here, but from what I see, just about two bumps, 2 red bumps here. So we can change it to she hasn't. Now from the S here is she has got, so we change it to she hasn't got. She hasn't got. Now here mosquito bites here can be counted. So we put she hasn't got many mosquito bites. Alright, so the writing part I will show it to you later. Let us go to question 3. Here, there's a lot of space in the room. There's a lot of space in the room. Here you can see that not much space here. It's just that the bed really occupies most of the space in the room. So here there is a lot, so we would say there isn't a lot. Can we use a lot here? Well, space for negative sentence, alright, for space is uncountable, so for negative sentence we use much, right? So we use much. So there isn't much space in the room. There isn't much space in the room. So this is the answer for question 3. As for question 4, there aren't any mosquitoes. Actually, there are quite a lot. So here you see they are using aren't. Alright, they are using aren't here. So and here therefore we put down there are. There are a lot of mosquitoes. right? So here there are a lot, so we would say mosquitoes can be counted here in this room, so in her room. So there are a lot of mosquitoes. Alright, so that is the answer for question 4. For exercise 4, these are the answers for question 1, 2, 3, and 4. Coming to exercise 5, you are required to read the text about 4 different vertebrates and choose the correct answers. And here it is about dolphin, penguin, human being, and crocodile. And before we do this exercise, I would like to introduce to you a little bit more about dolphin, penguin, and crocodile. The first picture that you are looking at here is a dolphin. A newborn dolphin is called a calf. As soon as a baby dolphin is born, it swims up for a breath of air. Then it returns for a drink of its mom's milk. And as you know, dolphins are sea mammals, so they give birth. And here these calves and their mummies live in family groups called schools. A baby dolphin will stay with its mummy for 3 to 6 years. Then it will join a school of other young dolphins. And dolphins live in oceans all over the world. They are quite friendly and playful. And if you go to the beach, well, you might see dolphins jumping out of the water. The second picture here, as you can see, is definitely a penguin. Now, a baby penguin is called a chick. It took 2 months for this fuzzy chick to hatch. Now, what do they eat for dinner then, or for their meals? Well, they eat fresh fish from the ocean, and the chick's mommy and daddy take turns feeding it. And some penguins, well, where do they live normally? They live in Antarctica, and they waddle on the ice. They slide on the snow, and they dive deep into the cold water. Incredible, isn't it? The third picture that I'm showing to you all here, what are they? Yes, crocodiles. You see, little crocodiles, they poke their way out of their eggs, and like all reptiles, they have a special tooth called an egg tooth. They use their special tooth to cut through the tough egg shell. Wow! And squeak, squeak, squeak. The baby crocodiles make the sound so that their mommy can find them. Then they will take a ride in a very safe place. Ooh, these crocodiles are cooling off in the water, and they are having their sunbathing. And crocodiles live in rivers and lakes in very warm places. They like to bake on the sand, like what you are seeing now on the picture, or in the mud near the edges of the water. And I hope the explanation of these 3 vertebrates would be an interesting knowledge for you. Now it's time to answer this exercise. Paragraph 1. What is a vertebrate? It's what? Animal with a backbone? You see, animal. So air, it's a vowel sound, so we put an. It's an animal with a backbone or a spine. Read about these 4 different types of vertebrates. 1. Dolphin. This animal looks like fish. So fish, this is a consonant. So, and there's only one fish there. only one, so we put a fish. But it is actually mammal, so a and m is a consonant, so we put a, mammal. 2. Penguin. This animal, so is it doesn't have any or has feathers? Well, you can see a penguin. Remember what I showed you just now, the picture? So this animal doesn't have any feathers. And it spends what? It spends a lot of time in the water. Next. 3. Human being. Although this animal doesn't have hair on its body, much or many. For 6. Now, for hair, it is uncountable, so we use much. Doesn't have much hair on its body. It is M, a consonant, so a mammal. Next, scientists believe it is the, with the, an intelligent animal, so we will say, well, if you want to put more, then at the front, normally there would be a than, more than. But because there is no than here, in general, normally we put most. So scientists believe it is the most intelligent animal on Earth. Question 4. Crocodile. This reptile is one of the, yes, it is comparing one with many, one with all. So one of the oldest, we are using superlative here, oldest animals on Earth. It appeared on this planet as early, so as and as they come together as a pair. So as early as the dinosaurs, more than 200 million years ago. There it goes for exercise 5, and I'll show you the answer, a written answer. So this is the answer for exercise 5. But then again, as you do your exercise the exercise 5, you are required to copy the questions. And then you write down the answer. You don't have to write both. You are straight away questions together with the answer. Yeah, the one answer, and the rest will be the same. For the final exercise on page 47, you are required to find out the names of another 4 vertebrates. So here I found 4 vertebrates which I find quite interesting. The first vertebrate that I would like to show you would be this interesting and cute harp seal. A baby seal is called a pup. And why would the pup and mommy get close together? Yes, they do. And it's because its mommy is learning her baby's smell. Because knowing that, she can easily find it anywhere. And when a pup is 2 weeks old, it will start to get its own grown-up coat. And, well, the grown-up coat would be something like gray fur. And at about 1 year, this pup will be able to swim all by itself. And harp seals, they live on the ice, and they are not cold. Well, it's because they have a lot of fat under their skin, and the fat helps to keep them warm. This is a beautiful whale that I would like to share with you. Yes, it's a big baby. A baby whale is called a calf, and this calf weighed about 200 pounds when it was born, and that is much, much bigger than we are now. And where was it born? Under the water. The calf normally stays close to its mommy, and like a human baby, it cries when it is hungry, and its mommy's milk definitely tastes good to it. It will nurse for about 2 years. Look at this whale. well, it dives down deep, and then up it comes. Whales did dive, swim, and play in the water, but they are mammals, so they must come up to breathe air. Third vertebrate that I find very interesting will be this panda, and I'm sure you have heard of this movie called Kung Fu Panda. As you look at it, a baby panda is actually called a cub, and when a tiny cub was born, it will grow 900 times bigger than it is when it was a cub. So at 4 months, the cub can actually walk all by itself. It crawls all over its mommy, and that is how it learns to climb trees. And at 1 year, it will no longer drink its mommy's milk. Well, it will instead eat yummy leaves, right? And for panda, they live in only one place in the whole world, and they live in China. Their favorite food grows there, and it is called bamboo. They hold bamboo in their paws, like what you are looking at here, and they munch it away. Very interesting. For the fourth vertebrate, I'm sure everyone knows what kind of animal is this. Yes, it's kangaroo. Wait, just a minute. Here. Yes, what else do you see? A baby kangaroo in its mommy's pouch. Well, a baby kangaroo is called a joey, and this one was no bigger than a jelly bean when it was born. It will hide inside its mommy's pouch for about 2 months. And when it's about 6 months old, it will leave its mommy's pouch. But not for long. When it feels scared, afraid, it will hop right back into the pouch. And soon, it will be too big for its mommy's pouch. Where do they live? Well, kangaroos live in the grasslands of Australia. It is very hot and dry there, and during the day, kangaroos rest in the shade. Then, at night, they look for tasty plants to eat. There it goes for the 4 vertebrates that I've chosen. For this exercise, I make it into a table form. So I put down the names on top: harp seal, whale, panda, and kangaroo. And there are 3 parts here that I want to let you know that we can put it down. Born, for the babies, we call them pup. For harp seal, whale is a calf and it's about 200 pounds when it is born. And for panda, it's called a cub for baby panda. And for baby kangaroo, it's a joey. So as they grow up, for harp seal, about 2 weeks old, its gray fur will come out, and for a year later, it will swim all by itself. And for the whale, normally it stays close to its mommy, and it will nurse for 2 years with the mommy's milk. And for panda, 4 months later, the panda, the little cub, can walk all by itself. And a year later, it will stop nursing and will start eating leaves. As for a joey, 6 months later, it will leave its mommy's pouch. The third part here will be the habitat. For the harp seal, they love to live on ice, and you can normally find them in the North Atlantic and the Arctic Oceans. As for the whale, you can find them in colder waters. And normally they can be found in northern and southern hemispheres. For the panda, you can find them in China. And for the kangaroo, you can find them in the grasslands of Australia. So this is a table that I have done for exercise 6. If you have any questions regarding any of the exercises on page 47, do drop me a message. Just right under the YouTube in the comment box. So if I can answer all your questions, I'll try my best to answer your questions. Alright, so I hope you have a great time learning about some of the animals on page 47 and the grammar on countable nouns and uncountable nouns. Thank you very much. Stay safe and stay healthy. See you in the next video. Thank you.